Firstly, I want to say thanks to Willie and Stuart for those speeches, because what makes them extra special is they're not generally the sort of people to wear their hearts on their sleeves, so to hear those emotional things from them is really great. Thank you. Now, I think traditionally I'm probably supposed to thank about 100 people today, but I hear horror stories about people who get left out and then they don't speak for sort of 5 years. So I don't want to fall into that trap. So really, I want to thank 6 people who've influenced and supported us throughout our entire lives, pretty much. I think most people are lucky enough to have 2 parents that nurture and love them unconditionally. And Emily and I are lucky enough to have 6 people that do that for us. So that's my big thank you. Thank you for everything. So I'm sure most of you have looked at this already, but does anyone have any idea about this painting, who it's by or what it is? Renoir. It is Renoir, congratulations. I'll buy you both a drink later. So this is called
Dancing at the Moulin Rouge.
Okay, so this painting is called Dancing at the Moulin de la Galette by Renoir. And the first time I saw this painting was in a little art book in someone clever's bathroom. I think it might have actually been Stuart's parents, but possibly. Somebody clever, they're the cleverest people I know. But when I saw it, I really liked it, but I didn't think much of it because it was just so small and you couldn't make out the details. But then about a year later, I saw a programme on the BBC about Renoir and about the history of the painting, about some of the people in it. And I really fell in love with it then. And then literally the next day, I walked into a cafe in Maidenhead, and behind the counter was a copy of this painting, and I was gobsmacked. And I spoke to the woman behind the till, who was the owner of the place, and I told her about this programme and bored her to death. Blah blah blah. And then when I told her the name of the painting, she said, "Isn't it funny how even though it's painted down the road, it's got a French name?" That's how they talk in Maidenhead. I thought, what does she mean painted down the road? What is she talking about? And evidently she'd been sold the painting by a man who claimed to have painted it a few years earlier. Up at Bolter's Lock in Maidenhead. And that's usually the sort of thing that would really annoy me. But it didn't annoy me in the slightest, because she loved the painting for exactly the same reason that I did. It wasn't the scale of the painting, because in real life this painting is about 3 metres wide, and her copy was at least half this size. And it wasn't the value of the painting, it had just been sold for $90 million. She loved how the painting expressed emotional relationships between people, everyday people. It perfectly represents families and friends, children and lovers. And for me, that's exactly what today is about. Without everyone here, we would lose out on the joy of being together. And that's what this painting is about. Sorry. Just gonna have a break for 2 seconds.
I'm gonna cry.
I always forget one line. Emily and I consider ourselves very lucky indeed. We have friends who we love like family. I don't have any brothers, but Stuart and Ollie are as close to me as brothers could be. And Emily doesn't have any sisters, but I know how close she feels to Emily and Emma and Michelle. And on the other hand, we have family who we'd be proud to call our friends, like my sister, who I just get on with so well, and my brother-in-law, Andrew, one of the most fun, charismatic people I know, and my father, who I have so much in common with. And he can talk to me for hours about metamorphic rock. I still find him interesting. And Anne, who loves me like her own son. But yeah, we can have a bloody good giggle. Now, I'd love to come around to you all individually and tell you your special qualities, but I don't really have the time. But most importantly, of course, is Emily, who is my best friend and my family. I first met Emily on the fast backdrop in Terminal 43, at a romantic location. But when I first saw Emily walking down the stairs towards me, she was just glowing. Her smile seemed to radiate. For me, it was love at first sight, if that exists. I'm not really sure she felt the same about me. She looked at me as a sort of scrawny, puppy-type person who followed her about everywhere. But what I like to think turned a page in our relationship was when she went for a little trip to Boston with her, and Kirsty, who didn't quite make the grade, I think, tonight. And when she arrived in Boston, waiting for her was an onion. That's right, an onion. And because I sent her an onion because of a poem that Emily loves, called Valentine by Carol Ann Duffy. It goes something like this. Not a red rose or a satin heart, I give you an onion. It is a moon wrapped in brown paper. It promises light, like the careful undressing of love. Take it. It will blind you with tears, like a lover. It will make your reflection a wobbling photo of grief. I'm trying to be truthful, not a cute card or a kissogram. I give you an onion. Its fierce kiss will stay on your lips, possessive and faithful, as we are, for as long as we are. Its platinum loops shrink to a wedding ring, if you like. Lethal, its scent will cling to your fingers, cling to your knife. Now, you could, of course, analyse that poem for ages, and I'm sure my mum is doing so already. But let's just say it's pretty important to us. Now, people have said some wonderful things about our relationship in the last 5 years. How in love we seem, how perfect we are for each other, how they know that we're meant to be together. And it's so great to hear those things that mirror my own feelings. But it comes down to the simplest of things. Like in my favourite painting here, it's about the joy of being together. I'd rather be with Emily than anybody. So I'm the luckiest guy in the world, and it's thanks to everyone in this room, but it's especially thanks to Emily. So please raise your glasses for an often frustrating, surprisingly witty, wonderfully kind, and stunningly beautiful bride, to Emily.
To Emily.
Oh.